Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Cruz and welcome back to another video. So in my last video, I showed you what's gonna be my studio, but this is actually my current setup as it is today. So let's do a quick little tour. Before we get started, let's do some housekeeping. Please, this helps the channel out a lot. Like this video, please comment below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and be sure to hit the bell icon so you know every single time I upload a video. Without further ado, let's get started. So as I mentioned before in my last video, I actually discussed my plans for my new studio space. But of course, I can't just sit around waiting for that studio space to be available to me. It's gonna take time to build. Look, full disclosure, it's a little bit discouraging to know that there's so much that needs to be done in that space and so much time that needs to be invested. It's not so much the work, because I'm willing to do the work, and I feel like if I had the resources I could do the work pretty quickly, but I don't have the resources, aka money, to buy the material right now. That's okay though, because I really feel like God blessed me with that space and one day it will get done. Just not yet, and that's fine. So I had to find a place where I could set up a temporary studio space, and I went searching around this house that we currently live in and found this very corner closet-esque area of the basement, and I thought to myself, this is kind of perfect. Like, really, it's a cement wall behind me, which I think aesthetically looks cool, but just the whole vibe of the whole thing, the temperature's perfect. I can store my guitars here no problem, and it's been actually quite a pleasure to be able to film down here, so I'm very pleased with it. So I figured, let me show you what I'm using in my temporary setup for the year 2020. Not much has changed, but it's kind of cool to go through a refresher and we can talk about it. Let's start with the basics of what my studio consists of, and it's not much, okay? Especially because I've condensed it down so much, and I'm also been waiting to pull the trigger on upgrading in certain areas like my interface and DAW and even my computer. I'm currently using a PC, and there's nothing wrong with that. To be honest with you guys, I've been debating for years now if I should switch back to Mac. A long while ago I was using Mac, but then I switched over to PC because it was just convenient. It was all I had. However, a super PC was built for me back in about 5 or 6 years ago now, maybe longer actually, and I'm super pleased with it. So it's been working, but definitely as it gets older, I'm always in the back of my head, I'm thinking I need to upgrade, but I'm not sure if I want to upgrade to a Mac per se. I think I like the PC stuff, so don't kill me. I know people are gonna like dislike this video simply because I said that, but trust me, some of us PC users just like using PC. It's a little more functional for me. I feel like I have a little more versatility. As you guys know, Mac users, Mac is very finicky about allowing other programs and products to use its resources. It's a whole thing. So I've been using PC for a while now. As far as my interface, I'm not going too crazy with it. I'm using a Presonus i2. It's getting the job done. Look, does it have the best preamps in the world? No. Do I have rack gear and preamps here in the studio? No, I don't. That's part of the reason why I spent so much time cultivating my tone and my sound, using products like the HX Stomp, because I want to make sure that everything I'm putting into my DAW is absolutely as best as I could possibly make it, because I don't have a ton of outboard gear to make it sound even better than what it can sound. So I spent a lot of time making it sound good before it hits the actual recording system. For monitors, I'm currently using Yamaha NS10s. I really trust the Yamaha speakers. I kind of got used to that very evenness of those speakers, or at least their version of evenness. I mean, everyone claims to have the most even sounding speakers in the world. I just gotten used to these and I like them. They're not overly expensive, they're not cheap either, but they're great. I think they're really great for the actual room that I'm in right now, because I'm not in a huge space. And you get nice even responses, and I've been good with them. I prefer mixing and working with studio monitors, but of course there are times where it gets really late, and though the space that I'm in currently is very good with not releasing too much sound. I still am courteous of other people who may be able to hear the music loudly, so I do have studio headphones that I use. These are the Sennheiser HD280 Pros. Again, what I look for in anything, whether it's studio monitors or headphones, I look for evenness. The thing about headphones is if you position them just a half a centimeter to the front, or to the back, or whatever, it could totally change the bass response and just a response in general, and just alter the way you hear things. So you have to get used to the headphones themselves and how you want them positioned on your ear, so that you can try to match that every single time, so you get a nice even mix every time you use them. So it's not my preference, but when I do have to, I prefer these headphones. For a MIDI controller, I am currently using the Keystation 61. It's a semi-weighted keys. My wife is actually a piano player and loves the feel of this keyboard. She doesn't love playing keyboard too much. She prefers classical piano, and she loves the feel of them, so it makes me feel good that I have something decent. I'm not the best when it comes to actual playing of the keys, but I do pride myself in being able to program very well, and I do use MIDI controllers to do that. The other piece of gear that I currently have on my desk is the Personas fader port. It's something that I've had for quite some time now. I think this is even version 1. I think they have newer versions, and I think they even came out with a version that has an interface within it all in one, which sounds pretty cool. I've always preferred working on faders. Back in my day when I was first getting into studio and recording stuff, I learned on a console, so it feels right to me. I can't get that console here in this kind of studio space, but that comes very close to be able to control every channel individually. It feels good to be able to press something versus just using my keyboard and mouse. So if you're like me and you need a fader, you feel like more at home using a fader, then that's a great investment, and it's not super expensive either, especially in the used market right now. If you are going to use something like that though, I really highly recommend, like the fader port, that it's an automated fader, meaning that every time you press a channel, it remembers where the fader actually was in the setting that it was in. So I really prefer automated faders, and that's why I love the fader ports. It's compact, very easy to use, and very functional. Underneath my desk at all times is my pedal board. I recently went over my newest pedal board build in a video that I'll put here. It's the quarantine pedal board that I built early on a while back. I'm actually really in love with it, but I haven't been able to use it much up until now. So now that I'm actually using it, it feels good. I didn't change anything about the pedals, just condensed it a whole lot. So it fits under my desk a lot easier. I can still bring my chair under my desk without any problems. It's very convenient. A video soon to come with me actually playing through my newest pedal board, so stay tuned for that. I do have amps here in a different room that I can go and use, basically a bunch of Fender amps, because that's what I've always loved. But I do keep a Blues Junior here, Fender Blues Junior, in the room with me at all times to reference if I need to, so that is always sitting there next to me, next to my guitars actually. So just in case. The other thing you'll see in all of my videos, sometimes I use it, sometimes I just use my shotgun mic, and that's my Condenser Vocal Mic here. I use this for some singing, even though I don't do a lot of that, hence the reason I named my last album Speechless. Get it? Because there's no words. That is the Audio-Technica AT2035. Pretty good mic, especially for the price. I like it. I think it works well with pretty much anyone. I do have a clip-on guard there to help with some of the popping and the P sounds and the S sounds. When I do use it, it sounds great. Very little editing needs to be done. It's nice and clear. It's really great for voiceovers as well. I keep it permanently on my desk here so that I can use it at any given time. I find myself using it more and more for these videos versus anything else, and it's great. It works really well. I do have other mics here in my studios, more catered to miking amps like SM57s and things of that nature, but because I've been going direct for quite some time now, I really don't use them as much. So, but they are there. They're there, especially when I do decide to use amps, if I ever do, or even when I decide to record acoustics and go all out. I use a few mics, and that's definitely one of them. Finally, let's talk about some of the guitars that I use here in the studio. Pretty much the same ones that I've always featured on this channel, but hey, it's 2020. Let's talk about it. This first guitar is an Ibanez Parler guitar. I forget the model actually of this one, but it's not very expensive at all. In fact, I think it's under, like, way under $200. I bought this kind of just to practice and play at home because I always liked the idea of having a Parler guitar, and I fell in love with it right away. So it turned out that this has become my live guitar. I paid a lot of attention to the setup, and I got it to where I don't feel much of a difference between switching from my electric guitar to this guitar. So it's a really fantastic acoustic. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not my go-to here in the studio, but it is my go-to when I practice, and I really like it. It's very beat up. As you can see, I use it live a lot, which is why it has the sound hole cover. But it's fantastic. Now this is the acoustic that I actually use here to record in my studio. This is a Breedlove Passport, I think from the 2011 days. It's getting old, almost 10 years old at this point, but I really love it. It's aging like fine wine, and that's everything you would ever want in an acoustic guitar. You know you got a bad acoustic guitar, or you're treating it poorly when the guitar just periodically, day after day, gets worse and worse and worse no matter what you do to it. This guitar is aging like fine wine. It's set up a little high, meaning the action, because I use it for recording and I want 0 fret buzz. In fact, I have a recording session where I'm using acoustic tomorrow, and I'm going to be using this exact guitar. So this is my boo, this is my baby, love it. Sounds great, direct and mic, it's awesome. Breedlove, I love it. Moving on to the electric guitars, this one used to be featured a lot more on my channel. In fact, this used to be my only guitar for a long time that I would ever touch. This is a custom built J. Cruz guitar, Model T, let's call it what it is. It's a Telecaster. It's got Emerson wiring, electronics, and Porter pickups. It sounds fantastic, really great guitar, love it. Locking tuners, I love this thing. It's super beat up. It's totally my style, and it's great. I don't use it as much nowadays because, as you guys know, I tend to favor another Telecaster guitar, and I'll show you that in a few, but this is my baby. This will never leave me, ever. I mean, it has my name on the headstock. Come on now. Moving on, we have here, this is a Epiphone, believe it or not, Epiphone, fine, Les Paul gold top with P90s in it, and this is my slide guitar. If you hear slide on my channel, most likely I'm using this one. I featured it on this channel before. This action is set up very high, and I have like 13 gauge strings on here, and I usually do alternate tunings just to kind of play slide a little bit easier. I really love it. It's kind of one-dimensional because I made it to be just a slide guitar, but it's fantastic. And come on, P90 Les Paul, can't go wrong. This is my Strat style guitar. This is a parts caster, really thick neck locking tuners. It's got Fender custom shop pickups in it, and it sounds killer, especially that bridge pickup. And I'm usually not a bridge pickup guy when it comes to Strat guitars. I always fight with them, and I find myself lowering the tone knob almost all the way on it sometimes, and I just can't get a good sound. But this one sounds amazing. It's aggressive, but not like over the top, you know? Great sounding guitar. I use this guitar for almost all cleans that I end up using. It just sounds great. Like, what sounds better than a clean Strat guitar? It's just like, you can't beat it. So love this thing. Gets a lot of use here in the studio. Last but not least, you guys know it, it's on my channel almost every time, and that is the Nash T52. I absolutely love this thing. This is my new #1 guitar. Fantastic head to toe. Nash literally made my dream guitar. If I had to release a guitar, okay, if there was a guitar model, if a company came to me and said, we want to make you your dream guitar and put it out there for the world to see, everybody wants the J. Cruz tone. But just in case, let's live in my imagination for a second. This is the guitar that I would use. This is the exact guitar that I would tell them, hey, this is it. I don't need you to make me a different guitar. Nash already made my dream guitar, and this is it right here. I've been using it every single week for years now, and I love it. It's great. It's a perfect guitar for me. I'm a Telecaster guy. I've said this over and over again on this channel. Mid-range frequencies, I love them, and this guitar has it all. It gets a ton of use here in the studio. It's definitely the guitar that I gravitate to the most. I record the most with it. I play out live with it all the time. Perfect guitar. And that is pretty much it, everyone. As you can see, I try to keep it very simple, but have a lot of variations, especially tonally, so I can get all kinds of my ideas out. I've been in this studio space now for a couple of weeks. I've already done a few sessions in here, and I love it. I love the vibe. It's small, as you can see, it's tiny. It's basically inside of a closet, but it's fantastic. I love the vibe. I love everything about it, so I'm very happy to be here. This doesn't mean that I've given up on my dream to make that big studio space happen. It's just I needed a place to temporarily set up, and I'm happy that God provided me with this place. I really want to get that other space happening. I need to stay motivated, and hopefully it'll happen very, very soon. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. Guys, like I said before, don't forget, please leave comments below. If you have any questions, ask them. I will try my best to answer every one of your comments. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and be sure to hit the bell icon so you know every single time I upload a video. Thanks again for watching, and until next time.